There are currently 17 town halls in Clash of Clans. Some are more fun than others, but one thing's for sure, eventually you'll play through all of them. Today we're looking at the worst and best things about every town hall in Clash of Clans, because as much as you'll hate some of their qualities and annoying quirks, there's always going to be the highlight of that town hall, something you'll always remember it for and maybe even reminisce about.
Let's do this.
Alright, we gotta get town halls 1 through 5 out of the way first, and I decided to combine all of them because people don't usually spend a significant amount of time here. It's not that deep. In fact, it just feels like a long tutorial, which is the worst thing about them. It doesn't feel like you're actually playing real Clash yet, especially with tons of features missing from the game. It's like Clash of Clans Lite. Now, as a first time player, you may not even notice. It all goes very quick. But yeah, I'd say that's the worst thing about being down there, not being able to do certain things and play with all the cool stuff. With that said, the best part about these lower town halls is that they are really addictive and fun. A lot of us are here watching this video because we got sucked into this game very early on, and that's thanks to these early town hall levels. I think Supercell did a really good job at making you want to progress and keep unlocking things, and long gone are the days of these lower town halls taking weeks and months to progress through. Probably take a few days. It all feels like one giant power trip that constantly feeds your dopamine, and that's the best part. Okay, now let's actually get started with Town Hall 6. This is where it all starts, including many pain points. The worst thing about Town Hall 6 is that on the defense and offense side, there are no exciting unlocks or upgrades. The air sweeper is sweet, but I mean, come on, it feels like Town Hall 5 DLC. They could have easily dispersed all of the new stuff you get between Town Hall 5 and 7, and nobody would have noticed. It just makes Town Hall 6 feel like more of the same thing with a different theme. But with all that said, that's just the things you can build and attack with, right? The best thing about Town Hall 6 is everything else you unlock. I mean, Town Halls 1 through 5 felt like a tutorial, but man, at Town Hall 6, you finally made it. The game begins to open up. You unlock the Builder Base, Clan Capital, Forge, Clan Games, and the Trader. I'm not really sure why they picked Town Hall 6 for all of that, but it's definitely the best part about it. It's the biggest and most exciting milestone at this point of the game. Next up is Town Hall 7. The worst thing has to be the dragons. They are way more powerful than how strong Town Hall 7 actually is. So it feels defense is non-existent no matter how you design your base. And it's not just dragons. Town Hall 7 is generally considered one of the easiest town halls to 3-star. It's not a good spot to be. This isn't anything out of the ordinary for lower town halls. It has felt this easy for ages, but dragons is like the first spam strategy that you'll most definitely get shredded by repeatedly, and it doesn't feel good, especially in a game all about building a base to defend against, enemies, and then the realization that you can't actually do that. It's pretty lame, and it just gets worse from here. But the best thing about Town Hall 7 is finally unlocking your first hero. No matter if you were unlocking it in 2014 and it took you weeks of farming, or today waiting for the hero hall to finally finish, it's truly one of the coolest and most impactful unlocks in the game, which makes Town Hall 7 iconic and memorable. There's nothing like deploying that Barbarian King for the first time and seeing him die in 5 seconds. It hits different, man. Moving on to Town Hall 8, the worst part has to be that dreaded elixir overflow issue. Having too much elixir and nothing to do with it. Over the years, they've tried to improve this by dropping the minimum wall level to upgrade with elixir, so you could spend some of that on walls, but more often than not, you still end up with tons of elixir, more than you can know what to do with. There's simply too many gold and dark elixir upgrades at Town Hall 8, to the point where you'll be sitting on a mountain of elixir and you can't even dump it in the forge because those slots don't unlock until Town Hall 9. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I think that's definitely the worst part about Town Hall 8, and it still holds true in 2025. But the best certainly outweighs the worst here, the offense unlocks. I mean, you get hero equipment, the queen, and some really solid troops and spells. I might be a little biased here because I love ground attacks, but this is where it all comes together. Earthquake, EQ boots, poison, golem, P.E.K.K.A, Valkyrie. You could finally create some of the most hard-hitting armies out there, and it's exciting. Definitely the best part about Town Hall 8. Now we're at Town Hall 9, many people's favorites, mostly for the aesthetics, but also for nostalgia or its simplicity. But the worst part about this Town Hall is undoubtedly those double walls you have to deal with. Why does this Town Hall have double walls anyway? I don't know, everyone's wondered the same thing for 13 years. We never got a solid answer. Fortunately, over the years, these walls have gotten significantly cheaper, laughably cheaper. I mean, who cares, right? But when you're going through Town Hall 9, it still feels like a drag. I mean, there's so much of them. 2 sets of walls, you'll be farming forever. That wall grind can get boring real fast, especially if you don't even like the look of them. Luckily, most people can agree that they look great, which makes it not so bad. I'm gonna have to say that the best thing about Town Hall 9 is the aesthetics. I know you unlock yet another hero and some cool stuff, but nothing beats seeing Town Hall 9 come together. How everything dramatically changes to this black on black and dark castle theme. And the details on everything, like the spikes and skulls, it just looks menacing and awesome. It's one of the most iconic themes in the game. I'm not saying it's the best, but I believe it's one of the best parts about Town Hall 9 and what makes it so memorable and fun to go through. Alright, Town Hall 10. There's not a lot to complain about these golden era town halls, if you will, but there is one thing that seems to trouble the most players, and that is because you can finally request a siege machine, you begin to develop a reliance on requesting Clan Castle troops to get one. It's like a gift and a curse. It wouldn't have been such a big deal if it didn't feel like those siege machines are the missing link between your attacks and 3 stars. It sounds imbalanced, and it is. Some say that siege machines should have never been introduced at this town hall. Now, it's not that you need one to 3-star, but you'll likely want one because it dramatically changes the results of Town Hall 10 attacks. A lot of players agree that this dependency on your clan to give you a siege machine is one of the worst parts about it. Fortunately, you can fill it up by yourself with raid medals, so it's not that bad. But the best thing about Town Hall 10 was a little harder to determine because there's a lot. I mean, we could talk about the lava theme or how fun attacks get, but I think the best is that this is the town hall where you can finally finish those auto tasks for that 6 builder. A lot of people rush to Town Hall 10 just for this because having those 6 builders is a game changer for progress. So I believe this is definitely one of the highlights of Town Hall 10. Next up, we have Town Hall 11. Again, these 3 town halls down here age like fine wine. There's not much bad to talk about, so anything I say will just sound like I'm saying it just to say it. I'm not gonna lie. That's exactly what's going on. If I had to pick something, the worst part has to be those 20 Grand Warden levels they throw at you right off the bat. But compared to most other town halls, this isn't that bad. Instead, there's a lot of good to talk about here. The best, in my opinion, is the units you unlock, which includes the Grand Warden, super troops like Sneaky Goblins, Electro Dragons, and the Alchemists. Every single one of them is often regarded as a game changer. You'll never want to attack again without the Warden. Sneaky Goblins are fast loot. E-Drags are fun spam that always guarantee a 3-star. Now I'm playing. And the Alchemist is such a useful tool. The units that are unlocked at Town Hall 11 you will appreciate quite a bit. It certainly feels like a new chapter in the game. Alright, now we're at Town Hall 12. There's a lot here that players dislike. Some say the theme is a downgrade and unsatisfying. The amount of hero upgrades are a drag, and for others, it's the lack of exciting content. But instead of picking one, I'm gonna have to say it's a culmination of these things. Can I say that? Is that cheating? Town Hall 12 is considered one of the most boring experiences ever, and that is the worst thing. Being bored halfway through maxing a Town Hall can certainly make someone quit the game, and Town Hall 12 seems to be a popular destination for taking a break. Now, I will say that some of the opinions about Town Hall 12 are over-exaggerated, but at the same time, a lot of the arguments are valid. There are a crap ton of hero upgrades here, 60 of them, almost the highest in the entire game. And as for content, one of the main features doesn't feel as exciting as it should because you've already been playing around with siege machines since Town Hall 10. It's just one of those town halls that doesn't feel exciting when you get there and all the way through. With that said, training your own siege machines is definitely a plus. It's not useless, and I'll go as far as saying that it's the best thing about Town Hall 12. Even if it doesn't feel exciting or new, training your own is incredibly useful. Why buy and request them when you can make your own? For me, it always mattered more because I personally don't like requesting or using my raid medals for that. So being able to make my own, even if I take them into battle empty, is awesome. Oh, and Town Hall 12 certainly gets some cool points for unlocking the Yeti. Just what I mentioned my favorite troop. I don't think Town Hall 12 is as bad as people say. Moving on to Town Hall 13, this one was easy, unfortunately. The worst part is all of those double upgrades. Now, there are other Town Halls with double upgrades of certain buildings, but Town Hall 12 takes it to a whole new level. Almost every defense has 2 levels. Like, why is that necessary? Well, this is because when Town Hall 13 was the max Town Hall, they wanted to give max players something to do, and more upgrades was the way they did this for some reason. But today, Town Hall 13 is nowhere near the max, which just makes all of the double upgrades extra nonsense that you have to deal with. Town Hall 13 is a slugfest of a grind. It's so slow and at times really boring. And it also doesn't help that it has the most hero levels you need to do out of any Town Hall in the game. Those two things do not make a great combination, which is why it's one of the most hated Town Halls. However, many players push through it anyways, because there's a lot to love here. The light at the end of the tunnel shines bright. I couldn't pick one, so I'll just mention a few highlights of Town Hall 13. One of them is undoubtedly the World Champion. It opens up the game to so many different strategies. People literally rush here just to unlock the RC. And then there's the Scattershot and Giga Inferno, which is a game changer for offense. The Scattershot being one of the most exciting defenses you will unlock at these Town Halls. I don't know, splash damage, make everything go bye-bye. I can't forget about the Giga Inferno. It was so good they didn't change it for 4 Town Halls. But most importantly, there's the theme. After so many boring upgrades, finally seeing it all come together is what makes it worth it for a lot of people. Which makes sense because the aesthetics of a Town Hall can certainly impact how much you enjoy getting through it. Now we're at Town Hall 14. A lot of players tend to dislike the theme here. Honestly, it grew on me over time, but I can see why someone would hate it. The colors are interesting to say the least, like I always say, but I wouldn't say that's the worst part. The worst has to be the pets you unlock. As exciting as it is to unlock the pets, all of them but the unicorn you'll likely replace in the next Town Hall, as the pets you will unlock the higher you go are way better. Now let's be real, a lot of us are going to upgrade them anyway and enjoy them, and you should. They'll all be useful. Don't listen to those people telling you to only upgrade the unicorn, unless you're strategic rushing or something. But once you've moved on from Town Hall 14, it'll feel like all those upgrades were a big waste of time. All that grinding for no reason. This isn't that bad though, I just wish you unlocked better pets. But overall, Town Hall 14 is one of the better experiences up here. Players often say that the best part about Town Hall 14 is just how much less of a grind it is. After getting through one of these sluggiest grinds in the game, Town Hall 14 feels like a nice break. No double upgrades and not that many hero levels. In fact, comparing all the higher Town Hall levels, Town Hall 14 has the lowest time for hero upgrades. For those who don't rush right through Town Hall 14, I think they'll appreciate just how chill progressing through it was. Feels like a nice walk in the park. And I understand that other Town Halls have way better qualities and simply not being too grindy, but coming from Town Hall 12 and 13, this is for sure the best part. It's just a straightforward and fun experience. It's nice. Next up is Town Hall 15. Right off the bat, the worst thing about it is that Town Hall 15 has the most time you'll be upgrading heroes. Just how much? Well, take a look at this graph. Now, this is showing the total days it would take. So if you did like every hero one at a time, it would take this long. But obviously no one's doing that. This graph just gives you a good perspective of just how much of a bottleneck Town Hall 15 is. This isn't even counting the 40 pet levels that you'll be doing as well, I believe. Maybe it's more. more. The amount of time you'll be upgrading heroes and pets is brutal, and it's certainly the worst part about Town Hall 15. But the best, I had to pick between good pets, the theme, the new defenses, route riders, and the increase in difficulty. Though that last one is a bit more subjective, I understand that not everyone will agree that a more difficult Town Hall is good. I'm gonna have to go with the new defenses. The monolith is cool and intimidating, but I'm mostly talking about these spell towers simply because it feels like you have more control over how effective your base design is. The spell towers introduce a new level of customizability that makes it feel like your choices can make a difference, like what spells you're going to put on each tower. It can drastically change the outcome of a defense, and that to me was really fun to mess around with. Like, you ever go to your replays to see a new defense in action and just stare at it to see how it all went down? Yeah, I did that a lot with different spell tower modes. Town Hall 15 is fun. I could have talked about other aspects of it, but that's my pick for the best. I know some will disagree, but feel free to let me know down below what the highlight of Town Hall 15 was to you. Alright, on to Town Hall 16. I think the worst part is the lack of content. When we have a Town Hall that doesn't introduce much, it can feel like just more of the same thing. Especially how, you've been dealing with the Giga Inferno for too long at this point, and it's still the same at this Town Hall. It even has the same stats, it's literally the same thing, which is why it doesn't have any levels. It's no surprise that when it first came out, many thought it was one of the most underwhelming Town Halls, including myself. At launch, you didn't get the troop launcher, the thrower, or the angry jelly. There was a serious lack of new stuff here. I also wanted to mention that many players dislike how some buildings just never get new levels, and you're stuck with these Town Hall 15 themed buildings, which looks ugly. When you max Town Hall 16, it can feel incomplete. I don't know, it bothers some more than others, and it definitely bothered me. Those really dark defenses on a mostly red theme does not look great. The new merged defenses felt like the best part. If it wasn't for these, Town Hall 16 would be nothing but a reskin. It finally felt good to be taking some of the least effective defenses in your village and merging them to this monstrosity of a defense. That is the highlight of Town Hall 16, and unfortunately, if you don't care for these merged defenses, progressing through Town Hall 16 will feel like a snooze fest. Initially, I wasn't a big fan of them either, but eventually they grew on me, especially how cool they look at later Town Halls. Overall, Town Hall 16 was alright. And finally, we're at Town Hall 17, which is my current Town Hall. I'll be using my account for most of this footage, so mind the not-so-max Town Hall 17. The worst part up here is the initial loss of strength. Keyword, initial. When you first get to Town Hall 17, it doesn't feel as strong as a fully loaded Town Hall 16, and that's because it's not. Part of that is due to the loss of the Poison Bomb, Giga Bomb, and the Eagle Artillery. The Giga Bomb you have to place and upgrade, and the Poison and Eagle are no more. All of that strength you lost went to defenses you have to build and or upgrade. But Town Hall 17 as a whole is not weak. Heck no, man. It's more difficult to 3-star up here, trust me. The more you progress through it, the more you realize just how much stronger it is in Town Hall 16. But yeah, overall, I think the worst part is just that initial drop in defense. It's embarrassing to be getting shredded by a Town Hall 16. Town Hall 17 gets weaker before it gets way stronger, which can feel like a downgrade for a little while. The best part about it though has to be the separation of strength throughout the base. Town Hall 17 is built different. There is no longer a concentration of power in one corner of the base. The separation of the Giga Bomb and the addition of the multi-gear tower, Fire Spitter, more merges, and currently the seasonal defenses add a hefty amount of damage elsewhere. They took a totally different approach with Town Hall 17, and I like it. It's a nice switch up. And you may ask, why does that even matter? Well, attacks do not feel as brainless as they did before, and I feel like you have more freedom with how you design your base. These 3 defenses are no longer the determining factor of how you build your base. You know how annoying that was? It's not really an issue anymore to the same degree. The gameplay at Town Hall 17 is a nice change of pace, and I think that is the best part. Oh, and that theme. I love it. It's reminiscent of Town Hall 9, and I've been enjoying it so far. But yeah, that is the worst and best part about every town hall in Clash of Clans. I know I did videos on the worst town halls and the best, but I wanted to do something a little more complete and talk about every town hall. Let me know down below what was your favorite town hall to go through. My top 3 definitely have to be town hall 9, 12, and 17. Yes, you heard that right, 12. I guess I'm one of the few that actually liked the theme. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. But hey, before you go, YouTube thinks you'll like this next video, so check it out. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!